going to be an update video on products I've used up / hit pan on. I wanted to do another update for you guys to let you guys know what my progress has been. So we're going to start off with the products that I've actually hit pan on / used up. So I've only used up about like 3 or 4 products, so I'm just going to go through those really quick. I mean, not too many. I might find more in this bag as I go on. But my main goal was to use up another... Oh my god, I'm dropping stuff already. My main goal was to use up a loose powder, so I did use up my Colourpop No Filter Setting Powder. As you guys can see, it is completely empty. So this was the second loose powder that I used up this year. I did start working on the Hourglass one, but I find that it's a little bit hard to get out of the sifter. So honestly, I used that for like a week or 2, and now I've just been using my, just give me 1 second. I don't know what's in my eye. The first thing that I used up. Then the second thing was the MAC Prep and Prime Fix Plus Setting Spray. I actually loved this sample of it so much that I ended up purchasing the full size. I love the scent of this, and I actually... This has pretty much replaced my NYX primer spray. I know this is a bit more expensive, but I find that, you know, if you spend it on the big bottle for something that you use every single day, it's pretty much worth it. It's $25, which I don't think is too bad because I think that this is going to last me a long time. I think I got this back in like May or June, so it's been a couple of months and I've barely used a quarter of it. So, and I've been using it every single day, and I just love the scent of it. It's so nice and refreshing, so I love this. So I used that up as well. Then the next thing is the Milani eyeshadow primer. I used up, I think, my second one of this. I didn't repurchase this though. I ended up purchasing my Smashbox Photo Finish primer because I find that I love that so much more. Honestly, this one is way too dry, but I still wanted to use it up, so because obviously I use this every day to prime my eyes, but since I've been using it more and, you know, I went back to my Smashbox one ever since I repurchased that, it is so much better than this one. So I'm probably not going to repurchase this one in the future anymore, unless, you know, I just want like a cheaper primer and I don't really want to spend the money. But, you know, this is a decent primer for the drugstore, but it's just not as good as the Smashbox one. So that is the third thing I used up. Then I also used up another one of my L'Oreal Paris Brow Stylist Boost and Set Brow Gels. I pretty much use these every single day to set my brows. I actually didn't put anything in my brows today, but honestly, like, for me, like, a lot of people say, like, I have pretty full eyebrows that I don't even need to fill in or really even set. So, honestly, I'm pretty lucky to have full brows, because a lot of people say, like, you know, Caitlin, like, you have great brows, like, you don't really need any products. So I just didn't do it today. I kind of forgot, but I think that they look pretty good, so I'm not even gonna put anything in them. But I use this pretty much every single day to set my brows, and this one is in, I think this one's in light brunette. And then the last product, I think I have a couple more things in here, but I can't find them right now, is the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Dark Circle Eraser. I think this is probably like the 3rd or 4th one that I've used up. I actually just used it today, but I'm gonna declutter it because it's only coming out of the sponge applicator, and I think that's a little bit unsanitary for me to use. So I am going to declutter this. I'm not sure if I'm going to repurchase it though, but at the same time, I love this concealer, and I've repurchased it like 3 times now. So this is probably like my 3rd or 4th one I've used up. So I'm probably definitely going to repurchase it. So I love it. It's just such an easy everyday concealer. It's been my go-to along with the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea concealer, you know, where I'm wearing like lighter coverage makeup, especially on the days when I don't work. I really haven't been wearing too much full coverage makeup. I'm wearing it today because it's just such an easy concealer to wear. So that's pretty much it for the products I've used up. And then I will also tell you guys the products that I hit pan on. So the first one, like I said, this past month that I hit pan on, I just want to put my lipstick away that I'm wearing today, is the Storybook Cosmetics Fairy Tales Briar Rose Palette, and one of the shades that I hit pan on earlier this year was the shade Woodland. So I just wanted to show you guys my progress on that one. Like I said before, I don't feel like this palette doesn't really have too much product in the eyeshadows. I think that they're very flat pans, so I feel like they're kind of easy to hit pan on, but this didn't cost me anything because it was gifted to me. So it really doesn't like bother me too much because at least I didn't spend my money on it. So but just for future, if you guys are thinking about purchasing this palette, just know that pick one that you really want, you know, because I feel like the eyeshadows are pretty flat in the pan. If you don't like that you might use this a lot and end up hitting pan on it really quickly, I wouldn't recommend getting them. But maybe if you really want to try out the formula and you have like a lot of eyeshadows in your collection and you're not too concerned about like using up an eyeshadow too quickly, because it's literally like an eyeshadow that I could dupe in any palette that I have, then it doesn't really bother me too much. So that is the first palette. And then I did hit pan on 2 Colourpop eyeshadows as well. So the first one is in the Kathleen Lights and Colourpop Dream Street palette. I think they actually just discontinued this palette like a month or so ago. This palette was available for so long that they finally discontinued it. But I told you guys earlier this year that the one shade I really wanted to hit pan on was Shooting Star, and I ended up hitting pan on that shade. So that is finally the first shade that I hit pan on in the Dream Street palette. I've used this palette so much. I have a lot of dips in most of the shades. I'm going to try and goal myself to hit pan on this one next, which is Magical, or maybe one of these darker shades, because these are all the crease shades that I always use in this palette. So, but I was mostly using this paired with the Fenty Beauty Snap Shadows palette to use as like a crease shade, because in the Fenty Beauty palette I feel like it's a good pairing palette to use with like Colourpop mattes. So but I'm really happy that I finally hit pan on that shade. I was goaling myself to hit pan on that shade all year, and I finally did, I think like last month. And then the last eyeshadow that I hit pan on, which is in my everyday Single Shadows palette from Colourpop. These are all my single shadows that I use on an everyday basis. I hit pan on the shade Cloud 9, and that is usually the shade that I use to darken up my outer corners. I'm wearing it today. I use it to darken up any shadow on the outer corners if the shadow like isn't dark enough for me in the palette that I'm using. Like today I'm using the Honey palette because I use it pretty much every time I do a yellow look, and I'm finally wearing my romper today because I haven't been able to wear it this like whole season, so I'm really glad that I'm wearing it today. And I use this pretty much with anything to deepen it up. I've been using it with the Venice Fling palette. I've been using it with the Honey palette. I've even been using it with the Give Me Glow palette. The Extra Spicy, because there's no like dark brown shade in there. So if I want to go for something deeper, I always reach for the Cloud 9 shade. I don't think I'm going to goal myself to hit pan on any of the other shades except for to keep on working on the other inner corner shade I use all the time, which is Take It Slow. So since I hit pan on Let Me Explain last year, I'm going to try and hit pan on that one, but that's pretty much it. Because the only other one I really wanted to hit pan on was Cloud 9, and then I'm going to try and use up Firefly still. I still haven't used it up yet because I really don't use it too much anymore. Because I don't really use transition shades anymore, so yeah. And then, lo and behold, I can't believe that I hit pan on 3 more highlights. Can you believe that? Like, I think I have pan in like probably like at least 8 highlights in my collection now. Like, I think that's crazy. So I did hit pan on these 3 highlights, and I'm going to show you guys every single one. So the first one is the Ofra highlighter in the shade Rodeo Drive. I'm actually wearing it today, and every time I wear an Ofra highlight, I realize how beautiful they are. But I did hit pan on this one in the center right there. So if you guys can see that, I'm so happy. But I realized that the Ofra highlighters are actually really, really flat in the pan. Like, you only get like basically like where it is in the pan. Like, it's not really raised. And I mostly would use the center of the highlight anyway. Like, I never really swirled my brush around on the outside. So again, it is really flat in the center, but it just makes me so happy that I hit pan on it. So that's the first one. You guys know I love my gold highlighters. So the next one is the Maybelline Master Chrome by Face Studio Metallic Highlighter in the shade Molten Gold. This was a huge highlighter. Everyone had this at one point. The Master Chrome highlighters by Maybelline are so amazing. And I hit pan right in the center there as well. And again, this is one of my favorite go-to highlighters for a gold highlight as I'm dropping. Oh my God. Besides Rodeo Drive. So I love both of these. And the Molten Gold is a pretty good dupe for this one. This one's a bit darker than this one, but it's like $10 and this is like $30. But Ofra's always usually having a discount code with a influencer and it gets you 30% off, which I think is a pretty good deal. And I think that the Ofra highlighters are worth at least $20. So I think you end up paying $25 for them, which I think is better anyway. With the affiliate code, I think that they're still worth it because they're amazing highlights. So those are the two gold highlights I hit pan on. And then the last one is the Wet n Wild Mega Glow Highlighting Powder in the shade Precious Petals. I usually only use the corner of these highlights because I love the design in them. So I did hit corner pan on this one, if you guys can see that right here. So I'll give you guys, I think it's right there. So I love this highlight as well. This is a beautiful rose gold highlight. I love the Wet n Wild's Mega Glow highlights as well. They're amazing. The Wet n Wild Mega Glow and the Master Chrome highlights by Maybelline and the Physicians Formula Butter highlighters are amazing. They're all amazing drugstore highlighters. So really love these. I have like 3 shades in them and I have hit corner pan on 2 of them. I also hit corner pan on Blossom Glow. So you guys can tell that I use these a ton. So absolutely love those. And I'm also going to show you guys my progress in my Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. So this is what it looks like now. I have expanded the pan quite a bit. I am hoping to use this up this year. So I'm going to try and goal myself to use this up this year. I mean, I usually use this in the warmer summer months. I've been using this since like April. So I've been using it really consistently at least 4 times a week. So because I always use it on my lighter makeup days, like it's usually this or my Milani Dolce bronzer are always the 2 that I go for lighter makeup days, especially in the summertime. So I'm going to keep on working on this guy. And then the other 2, well, first, the other bronzer I've been trying to hit pan on is the Milani Dolce bronzer. And it does look pretty flat. I mean, since it's a baked product, it is harder to hit pan on baked products, but I am slowly working on this guy, and you guys know I freaking love this, so hopefully I'll be able to hit pan on it at some point. But when I first got it, it was way more raised, so I have used a ton of it, so that's pretty good progress. And then the only other highlighter that I'm going to mention, because I'm still trying to hit pan on this one, is the Anastasia Beverly Hills highlighter in the shade Amrezy. I'm just looking at it, and yeah, I still haven't hit pan on this. I think that this is the hardest to hit pan on because I think that this one has the most product in it. Like, I still haven't hit pan on any Colourpop highlighters either. I think that Colourpop highlights also have a lot of products. So I think that this is the only one I'm still going to stick with. Maybe I'll try and hit pan on a Colourpop highlight, but I highly doubt it. But yeah, since this is usually my go-to gold highlighter, I'm going to keep on working on this one. So that's the only one I'm going to mention to keep on working on. But I think I did mention Rodeo Drive and Molten Gold in my last video. So I'm really happy that I hit pan on both of those. And then as far as foundations and concealers, I still haven't really used up any foundations besides the Bare Minerals Stick Foundation. But I am decluttering a bunch. And I am going to tell you guys the ones that I'm still trying to work on using up. Okay, so the first one, which I absolutely love and I really do want to get my money's worth out of this foundation, is the Kogendo Aqua foundation. I mean, I use this so often that I don't think it'll be hard for me to use up at some point. I mean, I can see in the tube it's around like here. So I think that it'll be a good foundation for me to try and use up. I use this so much anyway during the spring and summer. It's such a great lightweight foundation, but it is an expensive one, so I really do want to use this up at some point. And then the other one is I really want to use up my second bottle of the Maybelline Fit Me Foundation. Again, I don't think it's going to be too hard for me to use up this foundation either. I have used up a full bottle of this before. And this one, since it's a lot smaller, and I don't think there's even 1 fluid ounce in here, I'm going to try and, yeah, there is 1 fluid ounce. So I'm going to try and use this one up too. I'm in the shade 110 Porcelain. And this one, I'm in the shade 012. So hopefully I'll be able to use up my second bottle of this. And then the third foundation, I'm not sure if I'm going to declutter this. I mean, I have had this for a while, I think like a couple of years, but it still smells just fine. And I usually use this in my collab videos. I don't really use it at any other point because honestly, I think I'm going to turn off my mister. My diffuser, I mean. I don't really use this at any other point besides in my collab videos, and it's a really good full coverage foundation. This is like my favorite full coverage foundation in my collection, but I have so little left that I really want to try and use this up at some point because I am decluttering quite a bit of foundations that I wasn't able to use up, that they were just getting too old. So I'm in the shade NW13, but I probably will declutter this very soon. And also the L'Oreal Fresh Wear is working its way out of my collection as well because it's supposed to expire this month. I mean, it's still working fine. I'm probably going to keep it another month or two, but I'm probably going to declutter that one as well. So I'm going to continue to work on this one. Hopefully I'll be able to use it up. And then the only other 2 concealers that I'm going to work on is the Colourpop No Filter Concealer in the shade Fair 02. You guys know how much I love this. I used up Fair 08, and now I'm still working on using up my first one of this, which I can't believe I still haven't used it up yet. But I do have a brand new one of these sitting in my on my shelf here, so I really want to use up this one. And then the other one is the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea Aqua Sealer in the shade Fair. I tell everyone to try this that wasn't really too impressed with the Tarte Shape Tape. I know some people don't like that. Not everyone loves that. If you're looking for like a more hydrating alternative for dry skin, this is great. I love this concealer. And I've used up a whole one before, so I'm going to work on using up this. Like I said, this has pretty much been my go-to concealer besides the Instant Age Rewind. And then the last product I'm just going to update you guys on is the Marc Jacobs Instamark Dreamer Filter. I just wanted to show you guys my progress in this guy. I think I'm going to be able to use this up completely. I think I'm just going to use this for like this whole week to see if I can hit pan on, or at least use up the bronzer side. But I've been using this so much to set my eyes. It's pretty much the only powder I've been using to set my eyes. So that's why I've made so much progress on it. So I think I'm finally going to use up my first powder compact, because the only things I use up that are like powders are usually like pressed powders, like the Charlotte Tilbury powder or the Giorgio Armani. So if I use this up, I'll be so happy. So I think I'm gonna use this up by the end of this year. So that is pretty much it. Now let's show you guys everything that I'm going to be decluttering, and we're gonna start out with foundations. So I have quite a few foundations that I'm gonna be getting rid of. The first one is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Foundation in the shade Porcelain. I was never too crazy about this one. I know a lot of people loved this one, but I don't like the matte version of this half as much. I mean, it was still a good foundation, but I was never crazy about it like everybody else was. I think that the Dewy foundation is way better. I love it so much. I've been using it quite a bit since I've gotten it. This is a good foundation, but I think that this is well over expired. So, and I just never really was a fan of it. I mean, this was only $5, so honestly, it doesn't really break my heart to get rid of it. So that's the first foundation I'm going to be decluttering. Then the second foundation is the Nars Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. This does last 24 months, and I think I got it back in 2018, so it is still good, but I don't like this foundation. I have tried to like this foundation, but every time I wear it, it always looks so bad on my skin at the end of the day. Like, I don't like how my skin looks after I use this foundation, and like I've said, I've had it in my collection for like 2 years, and I just don't like it, so I really have just been very cutthroat with decluttering foundations. If I don't like it or if it's expired, it's going. Like, especially if it's expired. Because I don't think that this foundation is expired, but I don't ever use... I don't remember the last time I used it. I think the last time I used it was in a collab video. And I don't really need a $45 foundation just sitting in my drawer not using it. I much prefer using the MAC waterproof one. So I'm going to declutter that as well. Then the next one is the Flower Beauty Light Illusion Luminous Makeup All Day Wear Broad Spectrum SPF 15. Again, I was never too crazy about this foundation, but this foundation expired back in February of 2020. I think I didn't get rid of it until like May, but this is going bye-bye as well. It was a nice foundation. I actually liked this way more than the Nars foundation. And I think that it had a really nice finish to it, but I always thought it looked too orangey on my skin. I never thought it was the right shade for me. So I'm going to get rid of this foundation as well. I much prefer her highlighters over this. I think that's all I have from her, honestly. I think I had tried the concealer and I didn't like it, and I didn't really like the foundation either. And again, I always thought it was too yellow on me. Okay, then it really breaks my heart to get rid of this, but I feel like the last time I used it, I didn't really think that it was good on my skin. And this was supposed to expire in 6 months anyway, and I think I got this like 2 years ago. So sadly, I probably would have had, again, been able to use this up completely. I probably only had not even 2 uses out of it left, because look how much I've used of it. This is the Lorac Natural Performance Foundation in the shade NP1. I told you guys that this was super similar to the number 7 foundation. I didn't, the Lift and Illuminate, which I love. I'll probably end up repurchasing that one at some point because I loved that foundation. I pretty much used that one up to the same point as this one. So, like I said, this was one of my favorite foundations. I loved this guy. I thought this was such a beautiful foundation, so it kind of upsets me to get rid of it, but I have to because it's so old. And then the next one is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Stick Foundation. Now, you guys know I love Wet n Wild, but I'm not too crazy about their foundations. I pretty much love everything else that I try from them, but their foundations have never been really my favorite until the Dewy Foundation. I actually love that one. So this one, I found that I think that it went bad really fast. And again, this one, yeah, it does not smell good anymore. This one's in the shade Porcelain. I think I've had this not even 2 years, but again, this was only $5 or $6. So again, it doesn't really bother me to get rid of it, because these really didn't cost me too much at all. But I way prefer the Dewy foundation over these two. I think that this was a decent stick foundation. It was never my favorite. I much prefer the No Filter foundation from Colourpop or the Milk Flex foundation stick. I think that one's amazing. But for this, I'm probably not going to repurchase that. Then the next foundation, which again breaks my heart to get rid of because you guys know I freaking love this foundation. I know it's a hot mess, but I'm getting rid of it anyway, so I'm just going to toss it. This is the Covergirl Vitalist Healthy Elixir in the shade Ivory, and this has SPF 20 in it. I looked up what MA means for the expiration, and I think it means May, so that means that it's already 3 months expired. So I'm going to get rid of this one. I absolutely love this foundation, so I might repurchase this along with my Physicians Formula Healthy Foundation, but I think I want to work the Kogendo foundation out of my collection first before I repurchase a foundation, because after I declutter all of these, I have cut my foundation collection in half. I think I only have like 15 or 16 foundations now, when before I had like 27 or 28, so I think it's so much better, and I feel like my collection is so much lighter now. Because I was getting really overwhelmed with foundations because I'm like, I'm not really going to be able to wear them that much because you have to wear a mask half the time. And when I'm not working, I don't really like find that necessary to have that many foundations if I can't even wear half of them. So this one I'm going to declutter as well. I loved this foundation, but unfortunately it is old now. Then the next one, which I was never too crazy about, and I find that it's probably going bad, is the Becca Aqua Luminous Perfecting Foundation. Again, this was one of the foundations that I found at Marshall's. And again, I just think that this is not a fair shade. Like, it was always, like, way dark on me. Like, not too dark, but again, it had a very yellow undertone. I'm going to declutter this foundation as well. Again, doesn't break my heart because I think I paid, like, $13 or $14 for this. So, I think the only foundation I paid for full price was the Nars one. All the other foundations, I paid a pretty good price for them because these other high-end foundations I found at Marshall's. So, I'm going to get rid of this as well. And then I think there's one more foundation in here, which is the Makeup Forever Ultra HD Foundation Stick. This really upsets me to get rid of because I absolutely love this stick foundation. This is probably my favorite stick foundation besides the Milk one. It's so good. And this is Kathleen Light's Holy Grail foundation. And I love it, but I think it's time for me to move on from Makeup Forever. I don't know. Like, I think their products are too expensive, but for me, it is usually worth it for me to spend on a foundation. I don't find that I spend too much money on like high-end stuff from Sephora anymore. But this was a great foundation. But the last time I tried to wear this, which was like last week, I put it on and I was like, oh my god, it does like smell old. Like, it felt really greasy on my face and it smelled like fish. And I was like, oh my god, I need to get rid of this. Like, this is how much I had left. Like, I really wanted to use up this foundation. And this would have been my second stick foundation that I would have used up besides the Bare Minerals one. And it doesn't smell bad, like, when I, you know, smell it in the tube. But when I put it on my face, it smelled like fish. And it just didn't look that great. So I'm like, yeah, it's time for me to get rid of this because I feel like it's getting old and it looked really like greasy on my face. I was like, yeah, time to go. So then let's share some of the products that I've used up. So the first, of course, are the micellar wipes from Simple. And then I do have a regular one in here as well. So this is the regular cleansing wipes. And then I have 4 of the micellar wipes. You guys know how much I love these. I use these up all the time. I even purchased the e.l.f. makeup wipes because I didn't want to keep on using these to wipe off swatches, but I think I'm just going to purchase the regular Simple ones to do that and then have these to like remove makeup because I absolutely love these to remove makeup and these are really good to remove swatches. But I wanted to purchase the e.l.f. ones for swatches because I didn't want to spend, you know, like $8 or $9 every time on makeup wipes. Because, you know, the micellar ones from Simple are like $13 or $14 for like the dual pack. But they're so amazing that it's worth it. But, the e.l.f. ones, like, they are so strongly scented that I can, like, not even use them to wipe off swatches without getting, like, a headache or just, like, thinking that it smells way too strong. So I really want to get rid of those, but at the same time, I'll try to use them like here and there, but I think I'm just going to end up purchasing these more from now on. So those are the first products. Then I used up, of course, another one of my Simple Sensitive Skin Experts Water Boost Micellar Cleansing Water. This is what I use every single day to remove my eye makeup. If I use a makeup wipe or if I use just cleansing oil, it doesn't do enough. The cleansing oil doesn't do enough and the makeup wipes irritate my eyes. The makeup wipes are fine for removing like my skin makeup or like my lipstick, but I don't like using makeup wipes on my eyes. I find that the micellar water works perfectly. I love this micellar water and I think I'm almost done with my another one of these. Mine is like pretty much all the way down to here, so I'm probably gonna use up that one within like this week or something, so I'm gonna have to go repurchase that as well. And I'm almost done with my face wash as well, so I have to go purchase that too. But speaking of my face wash, I did use up an entire one of these and I'm down to like all the way down to here for the one I'm currently using. So again, I have to go purchase that soon. So this is the La Roche-Posay for normal to dry skin hydrating gentle cleanser. So this was my first one that I purchased of this. So I've had this for a while. So I did use up my first one and I'm working on using up my second one. This is my daily cleanser. I use it every single day. I'm going to grab my trash can real quick so I can throw this stuff out as I'm talking about it. Okay, then the next product, this took me so freaking long to use up. And this is I don't know how I got foundation on it. This is the Kiehl's Amino Acid Conditioner. And it's pretty much to the bottom, but honestly, and there is still a little bit of product in it, but this lasts me so freaking long that I finally decided just to try, just to start using the new bottle of it that I purchased back in April. So I was using this for another like 3 months at least. I just stopped using this bottle like 2 weeks ago because I'm like, I already started working on the next shampoo bottle because when my mom got this for me and got me the coinciding shampoo, the shampoo bottle she didn't get in this size, she got it in the smaller size. So that's why this one has lasted me so long, because I used up that entire shampoo bottle with this. But then this was lasting me while I started the new shampoo bottle when I got it for the VIB sale, and then I got another shampoo bottle because I knew that I would go through the shampoo faster than the conditioner because I know this is going to last me a really long time because this has lasted me so long. So I'm going to get rid of the first one. And again, there's still some product, but honestly, like, I need to start working on the new one. So I just started working on the new one like a couple of weeks ago. Okay, and then a little bit more skincare. The next one that I used up is my AM Face Moisturizer, which is the CeraVe AM Facial Moisturizing Lotion with Sunscreen. You guys know that this is my AM moisturizer. I use it every single day to put on my SPF. And I think that this is like the second or third one that I've used up, and I already have another one in my bathroom. So yeah, I use this up all the time. And then I think we have a couple more skincare items in here. Let's just get those out of the way. Oh yeah, there we go. Then I also used up another one of my, why does it look like there's some product in here? What? It's pretty much done though. And I've been using like the bigger size anyway. So this is the Ole Henriksen Truth Serum. This is my vitamin C serum that I use every single day. I did purchase the big one back in April when Sephora had their VIB sale. I don't know why there's a little bit of product in here though, because I know I can't get any more out of the bottle. That might just be like build up from the inside, just, you know, building up on the inside, so I'm not going to use it anymore. But yeah, I use this every day. And then another skincare product is the Ordinary 100% Organic Via Chia Seed Oil. I used to use this at night as my nighttime oil. But I pretty much have worked almost everything from the Ordinary out of my collection, because out of my skincare, I mean, because the only thing I really do use from them is the retinol from the Inky List, which is their sister brand, and I absolutely love that retinol. It replaced the retinol that I got from them, and I love that one so much more because originally I was using the Ordinary one, but I think that the one from the Inky List is way better. So I was using this as my nighttime oil, but since I use the Inky List retinol and the melatonin stick nighttime serum, so I've been using the serum instead of this, because I didn't repurchase this because I'd rather use the serum in replacement of the oil, and it's really been, you know, nice on my skin that I didn't find it necessary to repurchase this again. I might repurchase this though after I use up the serum, because I don't love the serum as much as this, so we'll see. So that is the other skincare product, and then we do have one more skincare item in here, which is the Ole Henriksen Sheer Transformation Perfecting Moisturizer. I did use up the big tub of this. This is my nighttime moisturizer, and I do have another one again in my bathroom because I did purchase that along with the vitamin C serum and nighttime gel in like a set. Because they were such a great price during the Sephora sale that they were on sale plus 20% off. So I was like, I need to take advantage of that. So I do have my second one of this. I think I'm like halfway through it. So that was the first one that I used up. And then I did also use up my solid soap from Sephora. I do have another one sitting in my bathroom that I've used up. I just was too lazy to grab it. But I did use up 2 more of these. This is my favorite cleanser to wash my sponges. I did also use up the spot cleaner as well from Ulta. I'm just going to get rid of this one because I just got the full size, and I don't find that this spray is really functioning as well anymore. It's kind of getting clogged on the bottom, so I'm just going to get rid of it. Like this only costed me $5, and obviously the brush cleaner, the big one, is going to last me way longer. Or I might just pour this into the new one. But, you know, this is a little bit older and I'd rather use the new stuff. So I'm just going to get rid of it. And then also my favorite cleanser. They actually didn't have they are always out of the full size of this in Sephora. And I didn't feel like ordering it because, you know, the store has been open for a little while. So I just went to pick it up there. But I actually ended up purchasing the Beauty Blender cleanser because they had 2 of the unscented ones, and I was like, you know what, I'll just purchase 2 of those so I don't run out of it right away, and then I don't have to worry about, you know, ordering this until maybe like the next time they have a sale or something. But like this has been the only thing that I've been purchasing from Sephora is my soap cleanser because I can't find a better one. If you guys have one to recommend besides dishwasher soap, I usually use that when I run out of this and I don't have a chance to like go to the store and pick up more. Okay, so now let's just show you guys a couple more things that I'm decluttering. So I am decluttering quite a few mascaras because these are all pretty old. So I have about like 6 here that I'm going to get rid of. So the first one is the Milk Makeup Kush Mascara. I got this back in November and I'm just decluttering it now. So that's like an 8-month-old mascara. I just find it doesn't function the same way anymore. And this was gifted to me by Chip when we did our November makeup swap for the Sephora VIB sale. But unfortunately, it is pretty much dried out. And again, you're only supposed to keep mascaras not even like more than 3 or 4 months. I usually stretch it to about 6 months, which again isn't very good. I always keep them longer. I mean, this does say 6 months expiration, so I've had it longer than 6 months. So it's time to say goodbye to that. And then I have quite a few drugstore mascaras. The first one is the Wet n Wild Mega Length Mascara. This one is really dried out. I've been using it, you know, for a few months now, like since February, and this is my favorite mascara to do on the top lash line and the lower lash line because it's a really easy everyday mascara to use. Like you don't really have to use a lower lash mascara when I use this. And I already repurchased another one, so that's just sitting in my drawer, but I love this mascara, but it is way dried out. Then the next one is the L'Oreal Voluminous Lash Paradise Mascara. Again, I love this mascara as well, but I purchased all of these with the Wet n Wild. Like these 4 mascaras, I purchased all of them at the same time back in February, so I have to get rid of them. They're over 6 months old. So yeah, love this mascara from the drugstore. It's a really good one. Then the next one is the CoverGirl Exhibitionist Mascara. This is a great mascara as well, and I think this is the second time that I repurchased it. I really love CoverGirl, L'Oreal, and Maybelline all make fantastic mascaras. And then the last drugstore mascara is the CoverGirl, the Super Cyber Fibers mascara. This was the first time I had tried the Super Sizer because I really wanted to try it because Tara Babes always talks about the Super Sizer mascara. But they didn't have the original one. They had the fibers one, but this one is so good. So I might repurchase that too at some point. And then the last mascara, which I'm pretty sure is from last year, like November or December, is the Fenty Beauty mascara. I got this, I think, back in like at least January or February. So this is definitely like 6 months old So it's time for me to get rid of this as well. I loved this mascara, but the ABH Lash Brag has pretty much replaced it. And I love this mascara, but I might end up repurchasing the Lash Brag at some point because I love that mascara. But this was definitely a great one. Then a couple of concealers that I am decluttering. Yeah, I have quite a few concealers I'm getting rid of. The first one is the Maybelline Fit Me Mascara. This one's pretty much used up. I did start using it again just to see if I could get some more use out of it because it still had product left. But now it really doesn't, and I think it's pretty old, so I'm going to get rid of this. You guys know I use this up like crazy. So this is probably like my 5th or 6th one. Then the next one is the Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer. I know that this is pretty old, and I think I pretty much used it up. It's really dried out. And I've had this for, I don't even know how long. I think like 2 years at least, because my mom purchased it back when she was still working at Bloomingdale's. I think the beginning of 2019 or maybe the beginning of even 2018. But it's been at least like a year and a half. So I need to say goodbye to that. This one was in the shade Shantakai. Then a couple that I'm just decluttering. The first one is just old, and I pretty much almost used it up completely. This is the Maybelline Master Conceal by Face Studio Camouflaging Concealer in the shade Fair. This was a great concealer. Again, Maybelline makes probably my favorite drugstore concealers. I've loved every single one that I've tried from them. The Fit Me, the Age Rewind, and this one has been really great choices. Then the next one is the e.l.f. concealer. I forget what this one is called, but I do have the e.l.f. Camo Concealer in my collection, so I'm just going to keep on using that, and I think it's a much better shade match for me. I always thought that this was way too gray tone, not exactly yellow, which is usually what most brands do for fair skin, is that they always make it more yellow toned. But this one was way dark, and I did try to use it with the Makeup Forever foundation like a week or two ago, and they just did not look good. So I'm like, it's time for this to go as well. This was a good everyday concealer, but I just always thought the shade was off. But usually when I would blend it out, it would just blend into the skin, and it would actually look really good. But the last time I used it, it did not do that. So I was like, yeah, this needs to go. And then the last two. The first one is the LA Girl Pro Conceal High Definition Concealer. I just find myself not using this whatsoever, and I was never really too crazy about LA Girl's face products. I don't really have too many products from them, to be honest, but I do really have been enjoying their eyeliners lately. But this I just don't really use at all, and this one's in the shade Porcelain. I did not like the foundation when I tried it, and the concealer I was never really crazy about. So I'm going to get rid of that as well. And then the last concealer, which I did try to use like a week or two ago with the Covergirl Elixir, and I just noticed both of them just didn't really perform well on my skin anymore. And this was like super liquidy and separating, so I was like, yeah, this needs to go. So this is the Covergirl Outlast All Day Concealer. This one I'm pretty sure is like at least a year or two old. I actually really, really liked this concealer a lot. I liked this way more than their newer concealer. I absolutely hated that concealer, actually. This one was way better, so. And nobody talks about it, but that's a great drugstore concealer as well. And then I'm just getting rid of my Benefit blushes. I just find that I don't like how they look on my skin anymore, and I've had these for years. But every time I use these, I don't like how they look on my skin. They look so textured. I much prefer using a Colourpop blush over these. So I'm going to get rid of all 4 of these shades. But I've had these for like 4 or 5 years. So this is the shade Rocketeur, Hervana, Dandelion, and Coralisa. I know that these are really well loved in the beauty community, but I just don't like how they look on my skin every time I use them anymore. I used to use these all the time, but I do have, you know, so many shades like this. And even, you know, I really don't want to get rid of Rocketeur and Coralista. When I used them the last time, they did not look good on my skin. So, bye-bye. And then I do need to do a full lipstick declutter, but I smelled both of these yesterday and neither of them smelled good. And I really don't want to get rid of this lipstick. I really need to go through my lipsticks again, and if there's ones that I really want to repurchase, I'm going to repurchase them. Probably this one is going to be one of them. This is the Colourpop Ultra Satin Lip in the shade Dreamy. This was like one of my all-time favorite colors, and this was part of the Kathleen Lights collection, but it smells really bad, so unfortunately I have to get rid of it. I really hate decluttering my Ultra Satins. I've decluttered almost all of my Ultra Matte lips that I had from like a couple of years ago, but the Ultra Satins, I really haven't had the heart to get rid of them, but this one does not smell good, so I have to get rid of that. And then the other one is the Makeup Geek Showstopper Lip Stain in the shade Waltz. First of all, I think that this is really dried out. And second, it really does not smell good anymore, so I'm going to get rid of this. And honestly, I'm not too much of a fan of Marlena anymore, so this was good, but not amazing. But it was a good liquid lipstick, but it doesn't smell good anymore. And then the last two products in here, the first one, which I should have gotten rid of a while ago, I think I actually did just repurchase this. So this is the Maybelline Master Precise Skinny Liner. Oh yeah, I forgot I actually used this all the way up. Whoops, that was another product that I used up. So yeah, I forgot to say that I used up an eyeliner finally. It takes me so long to use up eyeliner, but this was my go-to everyday eyeliner for like months. So I'm so happy that I used it up. These are so underrated, like nobody talks about them, and they're so amazing. I really wish Maybelline, hello, come out with more shades, please. These are the best eyeliners. I love them so much. And then I'm just gonna get rid of yet another L'Oreal Infallible Sponge. I use this so much on an everyday basis, but ever since I've purchased the Colourpop ones, I really do love those. I still did repurchase this when I couldn't use this anymore, but the Colourpop ones are really, really good. But yeah, this is like the third or fourth one that I've used up of these. And that is it, you guys. I'm sorry, I am so tired of talking, so I love you guys. Please like and subscribe. Follow me on all my social media. Thank you guys so much for watching, and let me know what you guys have been using up. Again, have you been wearing makeup at all? You know, what's the sitch? I want to know. So yeah, I love you guys. Bye. Okay, so of course I forgot to mention a couple of things in this video. I always do that where I rush the video and then I forget to mention a couple more things that I'm going myself to use up. So the first thing, or another thing that I'm trying to use up, is the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Finishing Powder in the shade 05 Fair. It would be a pretty big accomplishment for me to finish up 3 loose powders this year, so I'm going to go myself to use up this one. This is the only one I pretty much have been using for the past like 2 weeks. I was using the Hourglass one for a while, but it is a little bit hard to get out of the sifter, so I'm just going to go myself to use up this one. And I really love this one. But again, if you guys have any recommendations for loose powders, let me know. Then the next powder is the Flower Beauty Light Illusion Perfecting Powder. There is so much product in this powder. I can't believe I haven't hit pan on it yet, because this is basically the powder I use on an everyday basis. Like, it literally sits on my desk, and it's like the only powder that I use, because I only have the Fit Me powder from Maybelline and the Wet n Wild, and those are pretty much my only 2 daily powders besides this one. But I pretty much use this one on an everyday basis throughout the entire summer. And I'm really surprised I still haven't hit pan on it yet. It's really worth having because there's a ton of product in there. Okay, and then 2 Fenty Beauty products. The first one is the Fenty Beauty Baby What It Do Travel Size Makeup Refreshing Spray. Honestly, I haven't really used this ever since I got the Colourpop Pretty Fresh spray. I think I'm going to use this one up before this, but I'm going to try and use this up as well. But I honestly love this spray so much more than this one. This one is way less hydrating than this one. This dries so quickly on my face. It's just like as soon as you spray it, it dries like in 2 seconds. But this one like stays really hydrating, feels really good and refreshing. So, I really like it a hell of a lot more than the Fenty Beauty one, and it's like a lot less money. And this was like the first setting spray that I had tried from Colourpop, so just trying to get a bit more dewiness on my skin, but it just feels so nice and refreshing. So I'm going to add both of those. And then the last thing is the Fenty Beauty. I'm going to go myself to use up 1 lip product because I did use up the Aquarius Lippy Stick in my last one, or I think like earlier this year, I'm not really sure when I did, is the Fenty oh my god, can I speak? The Fenty Gloss Bomb Lip Luminizer in the shade Fenty Glow. Now this is my daily gloss that I bring with me everywhere. It's always in my purse, and I think I'm doing a pretty good job of using it a lot. But this is usually my go-to lip product. I keep it in my purse everywhere for when my lips are feeling a little bit dry later on. Like when I see my boyfriend, I usually just throw this on when I'm with him, and it just hydrates my lips so well. So I always keep this in my bag. So I'm going to try and use this up by the end of the year. So that is pretty much it, you guys. And yeah, and I used up my face wash this morning, the La Rouge face wash. And also I used up another one of my Burt's Bees facial cleansing oil. So I forgot to mention this as well. This was just sitting in my bathroom empty. I have such a bad habit of like leaving this and my Sephora soap in my bathroom for some reason. I don't throw it in my bag of my products I've used up. But I go through this all the time because this is my daily cleansing oil. So I just wanted to show you guys that I used up one more. I think that's like my fourth one. So yeah, that's it. Bye.